Right now on KGW, hundreds of troops deployed to the border as Mexico prepares for an influx of migrants to be deported from the U.S. And everything we know about the ring of suspects police say stole from more than 100 local businesses. Plus, Washington County sees its first deflection program success just a few months after the program launched. And criminals, well, they're getting creative, trying to get illegal drugs behind bars. How the Oregon Department of Corrections is responding. Your News at Noon starts right now. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Ashley Grams. On his first day in office, President Trump declared immigration a national emergency and tasked the U.S. military with aiding in border security. Now 1,500 troops are headed to the U.S.-Mexico border. Agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement have started arresting migrants with criminal records in a few major U.S. cities. ICE officials confirmed to NBC News that federal agents arrested over 500 people yesterday. That's nearly double the agency's daily average number of arrests. In Mexico, workers have started to build massive tents near the border in anticipation of a wave of deportations. Local authorities in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso, Texas, said the tents would be able to house thousands of people and should be ready in just a few days. We'll turn it over to meteorologist Rod Hill, who's taking a look at our weekend forecast. Rod, what can we expect this afternoon?
You know, we're warming up. As a forecaster, I look at some of these batches of air. You know how cold we've been at night. And I'm thinking, even with sun, there's only so much warming that could happen. But every single day, we just seem to keep going. And my point is, I just lifted the temperature a couple more degrees of what you can expect this afternoon. You can see the batch of very dry air. This latest batch came in overnight with this band of clouds that you see down here into California. And this will set the stage for more nights where we'll be in the 20s and we'll wake up to heavy frost. But the afternoons will be warming. We are completely dry. There are no travel concerns for you this afternoon driving in Oregon or Washington, depending on where you are, anywhere from partly cloudy to mainly sunny. Here's partly cloudy skies looking out to sea from Lincoln City. 45 degrees, north-northwest winds at 10 miles per hour. The view from Chinook Winds Casino Resort. Basically clear looking over the downtown cityscape, my Rose City camera. And we're at 43 degrees at noon. Now, the days this week that have been 43 at noon have all been 47, 48, 49. I've got us up to 47. If anything, it could be warmer than that. We will get cool in a hurry tonight, though. For your Friday evening plans, you'll need a warm coat. We'll be in the 30s, I think, by 8 p.m. Your complete weekend forecast, of course, coming up. Ashley?
Thank you so much, Rod. After an investigation into a months-long crime spree that targeted more than 100 Portland area businesses, 2 suspects were arrested and indicted. Investigators believe there could be at least 10 other people involved. KGW's Alma McCarty spoke with one business that's been hit multiple times.
Thursday evening at Grassa in southeast Portland, cooks pack the kitchen, fixing plates of pasta for paying customers.
We do fresh pasta in-house, kind of in a casual environment, trying to keep the prices down, good for families, good for a night out.
But back in September, when the lights were off, the business closed, thieves armed with bolt cutters and a reciprocating saw broke into one of the locations and the safe.
Oh yeah, these guys were pretty well organized. You know, they've hit several of my locations over the last 4 months.
Nick Sherman is one of the owners.
It's frustrating, you know, that I can tell you that, you know, my phone alerts me whenever the alarm goes off, and over the last 4 months, every time that my phone buzzes, it's like, oh, not again.
Other spots hit with the same tactics. Investigators named Baby Doll Pizza on Southeast Stark as the first to fall victim in July. And the same night as the first Grassa break-in, mid-September, video from Old Town Brewing in Northeast caught the same 2 suspects breaking a window, then using that saw to access the safe.
They can be in and out in a matter of minutes. They've actually found a lot of ways to circumvent locks. This
pattern, shown in several videos from Sherman's businesses, continued on through November and December until police arrested a pair of suspects. 27-year-old Courtney Carlisle and 33-year-old Joshua Lucero. This week, they were indicted on a combined 85 charges, ranging from burglary to aggravated theft to criminal mischief. But investigators believe there are more suspects, all part of a burglary ring of 10 or more.
I think this is a great reflection of what happens when, kind of it is that, there's no rules type attitude, and that people feel like they can go out with impunity and really damage and steal from these small businesses.
On a taping of Straight Talk, Multnomah County DA Nathan Vasquez said his office has been aggressive and active in putting this case together, and that their work isn't over.
I believe this is going to have a huge impact on our community in such a positive way.
Sherman encourages other owners who've been targeted in this way to say something if they haven't yet reported it.
Get in touch with the police department. They are actively looking for these people, and maybe we can get all of them.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
And 2 teenagers are in jail facing charges for Portland's first homicide of the year. Last Monday, a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old allegedly shot and killed a man in the parking lot of the Gateway Fred Meyer in Northeast Portland. According to police, Jonathan Trent was shot as he tried to stop the teens from stealing a woman's purse. Both are charged with murder and robbery. And officials in Washington County are sharing details about the first person to complete its deflection program. Deflection programs are for people caught with small amounts of certain drugs. That started across the state last September, giving them a path toward treatment instead of jail time. The Washington County Deflection Program is designed to last about 6 months, but in some cases, people can finish it sooner.
But if no other needs are identified and they are on the road to recovery, we want to make sure that we are stepping out of their life and let them go do that.
Right now, more than 30 people are on their way to completing the program in Washington County. Dangerous street drugs like fentanyl and meth are being smuggled into the Oregon prison system by mail. Images obtained by KGW show heroin hidden in the spine of a book, a greeting card laced with fentanyl, and a paper drawing soaked in meth. These are just some of the examples of what people are doing to get the drugs in. And to combat this, the Oregon Department of Corrections has brought in detection dogs.
The folks that are sending this in are getting very creative.
We've had staff, especially in our mail rooms, exposed to potential drugs like fentanyl or methamphetamine. We've had to shut down operations in our prison while we do decontamination.
The Department of Corrections is also working to expand a drug treatment for inmates throughout the state. And this weekend on Straight Talk, our Stephanie Domerat sits down with Multnomah County's freshly sworn-in District Attorney Nathan Vasquez. He steps into one of the community's most critical roles, and we're talking about a number of issues, including the supposed public defender crisis. It's an issue Vasquez doesn't believe is as serious as the former district attorney made it out to be.
We have repeatedly asked for the numbers, and by that I mean, okay, you have 10 defense attorneys. Give us all the numbers of the cases they have so that we can see that are you taking the appropriate amount? Because there's a limit that they're supposed to be taking, and what we know so far is that here in Multnomah County, that's not being met. There are other...
Hear from DA Vasquez on issues like violent crime, drug use, and immigration enforcement on the newest episode of Straight Talk. You can watch it Saturday at 7:30, both on air, or you can stream it on KGW Plus anytime during or after its debut. And also tonight on The Story, we have a new series called Still Searching. It looks at cold cases in the region that remain unsolved, and the series starts in Clackamas County with a case from the 1970s. More than 50 years later, investigators haven't given up, and neither has the family of Rita Jolly. Rita was 17 years old when she disappeared from her parents' home in West Lynn during the summer of 1973. She went on a walk and never came back. Rita's father talked with KGW just days after he reported her missing, but his pleas for help never led anywhere. 5 decades later, we're hearing from Rita's sister, who's still hoping for answers.
I wish that we'd all had more time with her. You know, I wish the world had had more time with her. I think that she had something very unique to offer. You know, it's not too late to have somebody come forward and say, you know, I did see her that night, or I know what happened.
We also sat down with an investigator from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office who's working to see if there could be a connection between Rita's case and a convicted killer who operated on the Washington side of the Columbia River around the same time that Rita went missing.
It's the same MO, like her age, you know, that kind of thing. But of course, he was up in Clark County. Where was he in 1973? The first thing I wanted to know was a timeline.
You can watch the full report on this coming up tonight at 6:30. That's only on The Story.